The South African Chamber of Commerce says while it notes the right to peaceful protest is enshrined in the South African Constitution, this right cannot be exercised at the detriment of others. The remarks comes ahead of the planned national shutdown by economic freedom fighters scheduled for Monday. According to its CEO, Alan Mukoki, the economy is facing significant headwinds and a national shutdown does not achieve any positive objective. He further said political campaigning should be reserved for politics, as all citizens who are allowed to vote have a right to exercise that vote legitimately to elect the leader they prefer during election times. Meanwhile, South African Federation of Trade Unions SAFTU and its alliances say they will be joining a call by EFF for a national shutdown. SAFTU General Secretary Zima Vavi joins me at this time on the news to shed more light on this. Thank you for your time, Vavi.
My leader, and good evening to everybody listening to your channel at this moment.
All right, let's get straight to it. The ministers this morning doing one of the media briefings labeled the upcoming national shutdown as a regime change agenda, and the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, calling it disorder and anarchy. Do you agree with this characterization?
No, the government leaders are in an unnecessary panic. There is no regime change agenda. When you say we are protesting, we're not saying that we're going to be toppling the government of the day. When we call on the president to resign and together with his ministers for driving our country into a failed state, that is not equal to a regime change. We believe that they are using this strong language in order to intimidate South Africans from participating in a planned peaceful demonstration that is going to be taking place in South Africa to protest that our country finds itself in a deep black hole, and having been put there by mismanagement, corruption, incompetency, neoliberalism, austerity, and pro-rich policies that this government have been driving since its inception in 1994, 1995. It is those policies that have led to a situation where South Africa has become the most unequal society in the whole world, where we hold a #1 position of being the country with most unemployment amongst industrializing and industrialized countries. We're also holding a position of being a country that have most of its youth unemployed in the entire world. And I can tell you, if they were to do studies on the rate of violence, killings in our country, they will find that we are actually the most violent country in the entire world. We're picking up 82 bodies in this country every day in our streets. 135 women get raped every day, and this government is unable to protect its citizens.
All right, I might just need to come in here. Yeah, I might just need to come in here. I mean, just as follow-up to what you are actually describing. As SAFTU and alliances, you've come out to actually say that you will be participating. Why is this, and what are some of your demands?
Well, we have been in the streets as the South African Federation of Trade Unions from our inception in 2017, and we have had shutdowns, the last one having been on the 24th of August last year. So we're not a newcomer to the game of protests in South Africa. We are protesting the following. I've already mentioned the crisis of unemployment. The face of that unemployment in South Africa is the black people that were supposed to have been liberated in 1994. The face of that unemployment is the youth and the black women. We are protesting the fact that our country, and the point that I've already mentioned, is certainly one of the most violent in the entire world. We're picking up 82 bodies every day, and 135 women gets raped here in a single day. 547 houses get burgled too and broken into by criminals. Our criminal justice system has become dysfunctional. It's producing a conviction rate of 15% only of the 48% of the people who get identified to have committed crime, and only 11% of the people that are arrested for rape crimes are ever convicted in our courts.
All right,
We are
briefly.
protesting.
All right, briefly, because we're pressed with time. Just before I let you go, some opposition parties, the likes of Democratic Alliance and Action SA, have come out with all sorts of theories on why this shutdown should not happen. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, they are doing what they should be doing. These are the shop stewards and spokesperson of the ruling elites in society. They speak on behalf of the wealthy, rich 1% of the population that occupies 45% of the whole wealth, and or the 10% of the population that is sitting on 90% of the wealth in South Africa. This is what have made our country to be the most unequal society in the world. So when we shake the roots of capitalism, that system, and when we undermine the authority of the ruling elites in society, they have to stand up, and because their sponsors are being threatened. So we're not surprised by the ANC itself, the DA, the Freedom Front, racist parties who protect minority privileges accumulated over almost 400 years of colonialization and 40 years of apartheid. We're not surprised that those people are in a panic. But we are ready. On Monday, the masses of this country will protest. This is the constitutionally guaranteed right accruing to every South African. We will exercise that responsibly. We will not involve ourselves in any kind of violence. We will isolate the agent provocateurs that may be planted in the demonstrations in order to discredit the legitimate demands our people are advancing on Monday.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Vavi.
Thank you very much.